Okay, I will call to order, excuse me, call to order the January 15th Code Enforcement Committee meeting at 7:10 PM. We've already had call order, moment of silent meditation. Get a roll call, please.
Yes. Mayor Claudia Gavillas. Here. Vice Mayor Omar Nickerson.
Here.
And Chairperson, Councilperson Harold Mathis.
Present.
You have a quorum, Chairperson Mathis.
Okay, the approval of the agenda. Any additions or deletions? There is an addition.
No, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as is.
Second the motion to approve the agenda.
It's been properly moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Approval of minutes, there are none. Good and welfare? Hearing none.
Chair, just for a note for the record that I'm sitting in as the ad hoc member with Councilperson Berry not here.
Right.
But as soon as the election transpires, all the committees that were assigned to him would go to the newly elected.
Okay. Duly noted. The attorney wanted to make a comment. I
Yes,
wanted to.
if I can, before you start, I just wanted to give since you all are here now, we have committee meetings scheduled for the 22nd, beginning at 6:30. If we could, just before that, schedule a special meeting, let's say 6:15, if everyone can make that. And the purpose of that special meeting would be to pass a resolution calling for special elections to fill the vacancy. Let me just give you my snapshot of the conversations I had with the supervisor of elections today and some of the research I've done. The first step in the process was for our village clerk to request the permission of the supervisor of elections to conduct a special election. The reason why that was necessary is because the supervisor of elections office is going through what they call an ADA migration. And they were planning not to hold any special elections or even any referendums for the next several months. So in order to conduct our special elections, we had to request permission, which the supervisor of elections has given us. These are the critical dates, and that's why I think it's going to be necessary for us to have that special meeting for you all as a council to adopt the necessary resolution calling for the special meeting. The critical time period is in order to have the special election, which is going to be slated for April 2nd of 2019, the supervisor of elections requires that by no later than February 15th, the village provides the supervisor with all of the candidate oaths. So if we have more than one candidate that wants to run in the special election for the open seat, we have to have the oaths by that deadline.
February 15th.
February 15th. That's just the candidate oath requirement. In order to solidify and confirm that the actual special election is going to take place on April 2nd, the supervisor of elections requires 60 days lead time. So if you back up 60 days from April 2nd, 2019, the drop dead notification date for the village to confirm the April 2nd, 2019 special election would be Friday, February 2019.
February,
So
what date? February?
Friday, February 1st, 2019 would be the absolute drop dead 60th day lead time for the supervisor of elections. So as not to bump up on that.
That's to get the names of the candidates in?
No, that's to confirm with the supervisor of
That we are
election
going-
that we are going to
Okay.
have the special election on the 2nd of April. So as not to bump up against that deadline, I think it'd be a smart thing to do to just have the special meeting on the 22nd, right before our committee meetings, adopt a resolution, and then forward that executed resolution, which is what they're going to require, and executed and finalized resolution to them. Once that's done, obviously we'll have the qualifying period of the candidates, which would run, I guess, next day, once the resolution is adopted, for a period of 7 days. I think that's the customary period that the village has. I didn't find any ordinance or charter provision that specifies how long the qualifying period is. So in this particular case, it would be the will of the commission. I would suggest what's been normally done, and I understand that's about, 7 days or maybe a week. for that, you can advise as to what that's normally been.
Two things, the resolution that we are going to be, potentially adopting on January 22nd at a special council meeting is a resolution acknowledging that there will be an elections April 2nd, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
You're going to be doing a couple things in the resolution. You're going to
Okay.
certainly be setting the special election for April 2nd, 2019, but you're also going to include in that resolution the qualifying period.
That's what I was, my next
Right.
question.
That's-
because we-
That has to be included
Okay.
also.
That's what I was, I know we
Right.
needed to do that, okay.
Right.
So if we're doing it that way, so the qualifying time will run from January 23rd to January 31st?
It's as long as you all want.
Okay.
I mean, I couldn't find anything in here. My last step, and which, I will send you all an email, which nobody reply all to. I'm going to call the State Department of Elections just to make sure that the state does not have a minimum
Mandatory.
time period that is mandatory for the qualifying period. So that we're not bumping up against any regulation that I'm not aware of, but I couldn't find anything. As the supervisor described it today when I spoke to their office, this is all driven by our code, but our code is silent on this. But, so I'm just gonna double check with the supervisor, with the Department of, the State Department of Division of Elections tomorrow.
Remind me again, on the 1st of February, it is when the clerk has a deadline to,
Okay, the 1st of February, okay, let me back up. In order for the village to secure the April 2nd, 2019 election day for the special election, the supervisor of election needs 60 days.
yeah, okay, so that needs to be
notice.
February 1st.
The drop dead of that
Perfect.
is, so if you back up, that's February 1st.
Perfect. So then to turn in the oath of offices of
The
the
15th.
potential candidates is the 19th of February, the 15th?
No,
15th
the 15th
Okay,
of
perfect.
February.
Okay, no, I was gonna say, because in terms of qualifying dates, then we could, go over and agree on, we start on the 23rd, which is the day after
Right.
the special council meeting, and put it for 1 week, the 23rd to the 30th.
Right, but you gotta keep in mind, it may not be that automatic because it has to be advertised.
Got it.
So when the clerk
Okay.
gets back, keeping these, that's why I'm gonna have the special meeting right away.
Yeah,
So-
'cause
So
she
we
has
have
to
it
be here,
set.
so
So she has to be
how
here
much
to
time frame
advertise
she
it,
needs.
so,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and we know that the shorter the time period, the more
Yeah, yeah.
expensive it
Expensive it
gets.
is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
if we have our special meeting and the clerk is here and she's already, when she gets back, she'll get us that information. If we set the qualifying period as advertised, let's say that Friday, we'd
Got it.
still have enough time to meet the February
February 1st.
15th,
Okay,
the February 15th deadline.
okay, okay.
We meet the February 1st deadline just simply by doing the
The
resolution.
resolution.
Right, we
Got
just, okay,
We need
I-
to get the information to them, right?
on the 15th, by the drop dead to 15th.
By the first, we need to let them know that we're gonna have it.
Which is the resolution, and the resolution is gonna be finished by the
22nd.
22nd.
Yeah,
Quick
okay.
quick
Got it.
question,
Makes
and I
sense.
don't know if we want to do this. There's some items that I wanted placed on the ballot for the past election.
Okay. That,
Could
you mean the
we
ones that I
do
worked
that?
on? I can ask that also. So it would not only be a special election to fill the vacancy, but I think we had worked on some.
Right.
Some
Now, if it's going to cost more, then I don't want to do it,
I'll
because I
find- I'll
really
ask.
don't want to do
I'll ask.
this special election, but we
Yeah.
have to.
I'll ask, but my suspicion is it may, because one of the things they talk about is training the staff, which is what drives, it's a function of the equipment and also staff training for the special election, but I'll ask.
Okay.
And if that's the case, we're gonna have to have a first and second reading of it, because in order to amend the charter,
Right.
it takes two readings.
readings.
So we'd have to put that in there, so the first reading of it
fast.
would be the 22nd,
22nd.
and it would come back for the regular meeting on
February.
the 29th of January for the second reading.
Right.
Yeah, but the clerk would have sufficient time for, to
Advertise.
notice
So we
the
have-
an
Yeah,
ordinance.
And then maybe so we'd have to find out what the
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
timeline is. But I'll find out, first of all, to answer your first question, if it's gonna cost more.
Thank you. Any other questions?
No, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you for following up today.
we'll move right into the agenda.
So everyone's good for the 22nd for the special meeting at 6:15?
Yes, we have to
Okay.
do it.
Are you gonna email the clerk and let her know that, so she can advertise it? That would have to be advertised Thursday, because we're closed Monday,
Okay,
okay? So the
but she's not
resolution-
gonna be here, so this would have to be,
Medical leave.
Yes, it would have to be the manager and myself working on that.
Well, two things need to happen. Number one, we need to get it on the website. It needs to get posted on all the marquees and an email blast to the residents.
Okay. I just want you all to be aware of the strict
I appreciate
timelines
it.
that we're looking at here. I know that Ms. Jacoby had gotten a budget for the special election to fill the vacancy, and it's in round numbers about $16,000 to do it.
That's just for the setup, though.
That's just
No, everything.
everything, that's the budget that they've given us for it, for the special
okay.
election.
We'll just
All right, so,
touch
thank
on
you.
two things briefly with regard to the code enforcement. I haven't had an opportunity to sit and meet with Carlos and see how he's going about things, but I plan on doing that within the week. So there is going to be a code enforcement suite coming, so be aware of that. And just wanted to go over the Home of the Month program really quick. Are we still moving forward with that? That's still, okay.
Yeah, and I'll handle that. We have the chair, and then we have David Ward who's present. He's co-chair of the program.
Okay.
And we have another member.
Okay. Does anybody else have anything with regards to code enforcement that they need to discuss or want to touch on briefly? So we'll go into the next meeting.
Mm-mm.